Hello everyone and welcome to another Tempo Strategy Wild Hearthstone video. Wild is a format that's full of possibilities for all the classes, but some classes definitely have it easier than others. Warlock, Priest, Mage, and Druid are always at the top of the tier list, and Warrior, Shaman, Paladin, and Rogue have quite a few viable decks as well. Even the new kid on the block, Demon Hunter, has a solid wild deck thanks to Baku the Moon Eater. But what about Hunter? Hunter is widely considered the weakest class in Wild since it lacks the kinds of mana cheating power cards that empower classes like Warlock and Druid, while it's also missing powerful game-ending combos like those you see in Priest and Mage, and the raw aggressive speed that define Rogue and Demon Hunter. Does that mean that Hunter is hopeless? Not at all. Hunter is a solid tempo class packed with plenty of solid minions, tricky secrets, burst damage potential, and quirky combos that can all give high-tier decks a run for their money. Let's take a closer look at the best Wild Hunter decks from Madness at the Darkmoon Faire, all of which can help you go off the beaten path on the hunt to Wild Legend. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Tempo Strategy YouTube channel and to turn notifications on to stay up to date with our Wild Hearthstone content. Our first Wild Hunter deck is one you may already be familiar with if you're a Standard player, but as powerful as it is in Standard, it gets supercharged even more in Wild. You guessed it, it's Highlander Hunter, which leverages the combined powers of Zephyrs the Great and Dinotamer Brann to beat the opponent down to a pulp. This Wild build takes a few cues from the Standard version, with strong early 1-drops, a secret package that supercharges Petting Zoo, and a late game bolstered by Lorekeeper Polkout, but it also includes plenty of Wild upgrades, including the additions of Mad Scientist, Cat Trick, and Rat Trap to the secret package, and Leroy Jenkins as an additional closer on top of Dinotamer Brann. Let's not forget what could be the biggest upgrade of all, Reno Jackson, whose powerful healing battlecry can swing the game in your favor against other aggro decks. Highlander Hunter has a solid early game that can contest the board against aggro while putting the pressure on against controlling combo decks, and even against decks like Reno Priest that can clear your board and hide behind Reno, you still have a shot to convert your early tempo into a win with Dinotamer Brann. If you're a Standard Hunter fan and you want to make your mark in Wild, Highlander Hunter is an excellent deck to start with. Moving on to our next deck, where would Rexxar be without his beasts? Beast Hunter embraces the truly wild side of the class with a focus on early game tempo backed by the savage power of Master's Call. Since every minion in the deck is a beast, Master's Call is guaranteed to draw 3 cards every time, and after you've drawn your hand full of beasts, you can play a corrupted copy of Don't Feed the Animals to turn your beasts into absolute monsters. With a handful of big beasts, you can go for a lethal swing with Tundra Rhino and friends, or you can grind the opponent down and dominate the board with Trampling Rhino and Dancing Cobra. Of course, Beast Hunter is no slouch in the early game either, with Wolpertinger and Alley Cat coming down on turn 1, and Springpaw, Diving Griffin, and Desert Spear all helping you strike back against aggro. Overall, Beast Hunter can be either a tempo deck or a combo deck depending on the matchup, which makes it deceptively strong against a variety of opponents. Speaking of deception, Secret Hunter is back, and thanks to some powerful new cards from Madness at the Darkmoon Faire, it can lay down a minefield of traps with the best of them. With the curve of Mystery Winner into Mad Scientist into Cloaked Huntress, the deck can ramp into a full set of secrets and cast Petting Zoo to make a massive army of Striders. The deck's secret package can punish almost any play the opponent makes, either by summoning minions when they play cards, or by driving back their minions when they attack you, and with Open the Cages in the mix, you can punish them even if they do nothing at all. If the endless parade of beasts and disruption is not enough to grind your opponent into dust, you have Deathstalker Rexxar as Hunter's ultimate late-game value engine. With the Build-A-Beast hero power, you can craft the perfect threat or answer every turn and give even the greediest control decks a run for their money. Overall, if you enjoy tricky decks that can attack as well as defend, you're sure to have a lot of fun climbing with Secret Hunter. As for our last deck, well, are you ready to get shot out of a cannon? Maxima Blastenheimer is the headliner act for a new Deathrattle Hunter strategy that takes a few pages out of the Big Priest playbook in order to sneak some heavy hitters into play well ahead of schedule. Maxima's cannon launches a minion from your deck at your opponent's face, but with this deck's specific set of Deathrattle minions, you always have something to show for it afterward, whether it's an extra taunt and healing from Kartet Defender, a huge 7/7 taunt from Scrapyard Colossus, or even one of your opponent's minions after being stolen by Sylvanas Windrunner. Sylvanas' Deathrattle in particular is key against other late game decks like Cube Warlock and Big Priest, and with Play Dead and 9 lives, you can use her Deathrattle over and over again to steal the opponent's biggest threats. As for the aggro matchup, you'll need to hold the board with removal spells and defensive traps until you can set up a wall of taunts, then transition into an ironclad late game with Jewel of N'Zoth, Zul'jin, and Deathstalker Rexxar. Out of all the Hunter decks we've showcased here, Big Deathrattle Hunter has more niche meme legendary cards than we'd usually recommend, so if you're missing some of the key legendaries, you might want to hold off on crafting them. Still, if you've already got these cards in your collection or you have the dust to spare, this is a flashy deck that can steal wins spectacularly, so if you want to conquer the ladder in style, Big Deathrattle Hunter is definitely worth a shot. All in all, the Hunter class has a variety of decks in Wild that are worth exploring, so keep this in mind. If you prefer more direct strategies with powerful cards, either Highlander Hunter or Secret Hunter are going to be your best bet, but if you want to climb with a flourish, Beast Hunter and Big Deathrattle Hunter are both powerful decks that can help you explore even more of Hunter's wild side. These aren't the only Wild Hunter decks worth exploring, so let us know about your favorite Hunter decks in the comments, and as always, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to stay up to date with our Wild Hearthstone content. Thanks for watching!